Diana and Joanne, this is very good news for Ford workers in Canada. As you said, the CAW and Ford have reached a tentative deal, but a strike could still happen at GM and Chrysler in Canada. The head of the CAW says they are still miles apart from a deal. But let's go through some of the details of the Ford deal that was just announced a few minutes ago. 6,600 workers, up to 6,600 workers could be rehired under this new deal. Now, wages are not going to go up. There's pretty much a base wage freeze under this new deal. Also, but there is a cost of living increase, a signing bonus, if you will, among the workers. More details were given just a few minutes ago by the head of the CAW in Toronto.
Announcing a tentative agreement. We just met with Ford of Canada, and our master bargaining committee and our local bargaining committees have engaged Ford Motor Company, and we have unanimously agreed to take to our membership a tentative collective agreement that we believe meets the objective of our union. So in total, at least a minimum of 600 jobs will be created in all of our combined locations. And so in terms of the total compensation, there are no base wage increases during the life of this collective agreement. That obviously is a disappointment to our members, but the reality is, quite frankly, that was not achievable. It was not in the cards. The Canadian dollar, and I think a number of policies that we need in Canada will, again, weaken our ability to do that. So we have a lot of work to do.
The other good news in this deal is that there are no planned layoffs as part of this agreement. As for GM and Chrysler, the deadline technically is midnight tonight, but the union chief says he is willing to push that back if progress is being made. His big emphasis is pattern bargaining. He says that the same deal that was done at Ford should be used as a framework for the deals at Chrysler and GM. So he's hoping that both of those companies will look at the Ford deal and do something similar as they did with Ford. As for GM and Chrysler right now, they are not commenting much. Chrysler saying they are reviewing that deal with Ford, but they don't comment on these types of negotiations. GM pretty much saying the same thing. We'll keep tabs on all the negotiations for you. Reporting live on the border, I'm Tom Waite, 7 Action News. Joanne and Diana, back to you.
And Tom, this is so important because if they ended up striking there, it does affect us here in this area, does it? Because they make a lot of parts that we use in cars that we build here in Detroit.
Absolutely. The parts shortages could, there's definitely ripple effects, and it could cause some big problems here because of that. And getting parts to the plants here, it would definitely be a huge problem, a big headache for the big three if this happens. So obviously they don't want to see a work stoppage. All told, there's 21,000 workers that are in the Detroit 3 in Canada, represented by the CAW. So we'll just have to see how it plays out. But it looks like there's some optimism. But again, the quote was miles apart as far as GM and Chrysler right now, so we'll see what happens.